3 English expressions when you are not sure what you are going to do in your coding interview and you need a little bit of time to think or to explore options. Expression 1, can you please give me a moment? Or a little bit more polite is, could you please give me a moment? And as you finish this phrase, you can say, can you please give me a moment to think about it, to read through this again, or just to look this over? So can you please give me a moment to read through this again, to think about it? And it's very important that you understand that in this kind of phrase, you cannot put for in front of the verb. So in all 3 phrases, it's not for think or just for think. It's always to think. Phrase 2 is the idea of you have different options you're trying to explore. I see 2 options, 1 and 2. It's when you're not sure, but you can explain or start to explain. Now, when you're using this kind of phrase, option 1 is to loop. Don't forget the to with the verb in your phrase. Option 1 is loop is incorrect. Another variation is I see 2 options. I can see 2 options. Or right now I can see 2 options. Different variations here where we have option 1 is to loop and option 2 is to X. And 3 more variations of this where we have option 1 is to X and option 2 is to Y. One option is to X and another option is to Y. One possible option is to X and a second option is to Y. And you can see here, and with options, you also have the possibility to say options, approaches, or ways. I see 2 options. I can see 2 approaches. I see 2 ways. For example, I see 2 options. Option 1 is to sort. Option 2 is to use a hash map. I see 2 approaches. One option is to use brute force, and another option is to optimize. Phrase 3, actually, I'll switch to. And this is when you are changing your idea or changing your method or changing your approach. Actually is in English, actually means in fact, or when you are explaining a contrary or something is different. In a lot of other languages, especially French, Spanish, Portuguese, actually means now. But here in English, actually, I will try a different approach. It's the same to say, no, in fact, I will try a different approach. And to switch to is another verb to say to change to. But as you're talking about different options, you can say to switch to change to move to, or to go with. Actually, I'll switch to a simpler solution. Actually, I'll change to a simpler solution. Actually, I'll move to a simpler solution. Actually, I'll go with a simpler solution. And to go with is a very common expression, the idea of to choose, to go with something. For example, actually, I'll switch to a simpler solution. Actually, I'll change my approach and use 2 pointers. If you like this content, please take a moment to click like. But if you want to speak English clearly in tech interviews, please download my free tech interview guide PDF. I have 15 power phrases with examples and a step-by-step study guide that can really help your English in tech interviews. You can find the link in my profile or at EnglishForITProfessionals.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video, guys.